Okay, this blew up, so since I don't have any other ideas, I'll make a second part. Firstly, if you're new here and you haven't watched the first part, then it'll be in the description, or you can just click on my channel and watch it there. For those who have watched the first part, then you don't need an explanation. Same concept of Minecraft mobs in real life, same concept of the tier list. So let's just not waste time and just jump into it. Silverfish. Let's start off small with a silverfish. Well, not really small considering that the real life silverfish is the size of a fingernail, and the Minecraft silverfish is the size of your whole forearm. Yeah, even though it's not as nightmare fuel as the spider, seeing an insect the size of half your arm would probably not be the most comforting sight. That said, the most terrifying part about them is the fact that they can burrow into stone and any other, like, blocky rocks and stuff, including bricks, which, if we're to give it to real life silverfish, that means that you might have a giant silverfish living in your goddamn walls, because most houses are either made out of concrete or bricks. Unless you live in the US, then you probably have no silverfish in your walls because your walls are made out of cardboard. Yeah, forget about termite infestation. Silverfish infestation would literally collapse your entire house in like mere hours. Just imagine the absolute terror some people can instill into cities by just mass breeding a bunch of silverfish and then just flooding the streets with them and just watch them cause property damage that rivals disasters like earthquakes and literal bombs. Yeah, I'm giving the silverfish a C tier. Phantom. Yeah, I'm sorry, but the Phantom would straight up be potential men in real life. They have quite the scary look, could be quite dangerous, can lurk in groups, and can be somewhat fast when flying. However, all of these things would be quite good if they manage to spawn, because the only problem is that you don't need to go to sleep for multiple nights in order for them to appear. Easy to be done in Minecraft, but I like to see you not go to bed for multiple nights. The longest someone has ever gone without sleep is 264 hours or 11 days, and I mean, just look at this dude, man. You think he's gonna be scared of a bunch of phantoms when he can barely even recognize what the hell is going on? Nobody wants to go for 72 hours of next to no sleep just to see some stupid ass phantom screeching in the skies. At some point, I imagine the phantoms to be like an urban legend or a horror story that parents tell their kids where they have to go to sleep, otherwise the phantom might get them. Yeah, also forgot to mention they're scared of cats. So even this whole thing just gets thrown out the window if you just have a normal house cat. Yeah, I'm sorry, Paul Blart here. Guardian, and Elder Guardian too. Now, let's ask the question, how likely are Guardians going to be able to survive in the modern world? Chances are next to zero. See, the Ocean Monument is a big place, filled with 8 blocks of gold. And if we do some quick maths and see that 1 block of gold is worth $1 billion. So in short, every single monument has $8 billion inside of it. You think the Guardians will be able to stop the absolute greed of the human race? No, we are looking at billions of dollars worth per each single monument. There wouldn't be any Guardians or Elder Guardians because all the governments who have ocean monuments near the sea would just send the army and raid the damn thing. And even if the Guardians fight back, then let's just say yeah, they ain't gonna have a lot of fun. Plus, let's not forget about pollution and the fact that Guardians remain around the monument and don't wander off, meaning that they're gonna be prime food source for animals like orcas and whales. So yeah, Guardians not gonna have a lot of fun in the world. I give them like D tier. Creaking. The Creaking is definitely going to be a scary creature, not because it can kill you quickly, the thing does very meh damage, and it really isn't fast. As long as you know what you're doing, you can maybe avoid him. Well, if you don't, there is next to no way to take care of him, and the only way to actually kill him is to break the heart inside the tree, and unfortunately, we're not built like Steve, so you have to literally destroy part of the tree just to then destroy the heart, while still looking at the Creaking. If you have no tools like an axe or a chainsaw, you're cooked. I can imagine the Pale Garden is just gonna be closed off to normal people because it's just a death sentence if you step inside. Unless you hire a bunch of logging companies, then I give them about a day before they flatten the entire biome. Where's the Creaking gonna spawn when there is no damn trees to spawn in the first place? I like to see the Creaking survive the everlasting billion-dollar companies that flatten more trees than there are people living in the world right now. And I'm not joking, we're literally cutting billions of trees a year. Damn, since when did this turn out to be an ad for the environment? Doesn't matter, I'm giving the Creaking a B tier. Snow Golem. This guy will be the most entertaining creature for everybody who lives in areas with a lot of snow. Just buy a pumpkin, carve a face and slap it on a pile of snow, and you got yourself a sentient creature that you can play snowball fight with. Until it rains, or he gets close to anywhere with enough heat. Or practically anything, because this mob is the biggest pushover ever. But as long as you keep the pumpkin intact, you can just, I don't know, get more clumps of snow and then just place the same pumpkin and he'll just be back to normal. That is until winter ends and you have no more snow and it's just a dumbass pumpkin. As long as you live in a place with a lot of snow, that is, you can at least have something to entertain yourself. Because where I am, there hasn't been any snow for like half a decade. Because I live in a fucking shithole. Thank you, oil tycoons, for taking away the one fun thing I had during Christmas. Other than that, the golem poses no threat at all. I mean, you really think a snow golem is gonna kill you? I mean, look at this dude. He throws snowballs as his main attack. Just tackle him and he's just gone. Anyway, unsurprisingly, snow golem gets a poor blood tier. Slime. This was probably the hardest mob to like raid because this mob can be the most devastating creature or just a pushover like the snow golem. Elite bone knowledge incoming. I remember when I was a kid, I had this weird underground website that was kind of like YouTube, but wasn't. It was one of those off-brand websites that you're probably gonna get on malware if you keep scrolling on it, but whatever. One day, my 8-year-old ass found a movie called The Blob. That shit traumatized me for months, because the whole plot of the movie was this slime creature eating people in the most grotesque way possible. And with each kill, it grew larger and more dangerous until it became this gigantic blob of mass that destroyed everything it touched. I can't really show most scenes because, well, copyright and second, age restriction. But just search the Blob 1988 movie and you'll see what I mean. Anyway, if we incorporate this type of mechanic into our slime, then yeah, no debate, this thing is apocalyptic level threat to humanity and every single slime should be destroyed. Which is what I firstly went with, until I realized that a normal arrow can just hurt him. So that means guns will basically shred this guy, which is kind of fucking boring. Anyway, if guns can kill the slime, then this thing instantly drops to like D tier. If not, probably even poor blood tier, because the more you hit it, the more it breaks down and the weaker it gets. Which basically means that by the end, you have this small little slime, which is kind of cute. You could probably keep it as a pet in real life. Yeah. Generally, I've spent like an hour rewriting this section of the video. I just don't know what to do. You know what? I'm just gonna be a fence hopper and just play the middle ground. And I'm just gonna put them in C tier. Pillagers, Vindicators, Evokers, Vex, Ravagers. At that point, just throw everything regarding that whole faction. The whole group of Grey Villagers would be a very interesting topic. On one hand, they're definitely a powerhouse. Slap these guys in the medieval ages, and they were definitely gonna do some work back then. Hell, there's probably even a possibility that they could even create their own few nations back at the time. But if we have the same pillagers in the modern world, then yeah, they're not surviving. What, you think some stupid ass magic is gonna make them able to survive a bullet to the head? I'm sorry, the Vex is summoned by the Evoker, need the Evoker to stay alive, so as long as you switch chase the fucking Evoker, any Vex just gets neutralized. The only other thing that they have is the summoning of these jaw teeth that bite you from the ground, but you don't even need to be reliably close to that range. You can just like shoot them from far away. The Vindicator is scary up close, but nobody with a gun and the IQ above a room temperature would wait for him to get close in the first place, which only leaves the Ravager and the crossbow Pillager that have the ability to actually do something dangerous. We have already spoken about the skeleton being somewhat scary, but Pillagers are a tier below because they take 10 fucking years to reload a crossbow. Like, bro, I get that the crossbow is a complex weapon, but are you really telling me that it takes you that long to put an arrow and cock the line back and shoot again? By the time it loads a second arrow, he's dead. And the Ravager is just gonna be an uglier version of the Bison. Like, yeah, the common civilian is gonna get shit rocked, but like the entire goddamn section, just shoot it. Anyway, Pillager goes C tier, Vindicator goes D tier, Evoker also goes D tier, Vexus goes C tier, and Ravager can go to B tier. I feel like I'm missing a certain member from this faction. Oh, fuck's sake, I forgot the witch! Witch. Do I even need to talk about this fucking mob? We all know what a witch is gonna be. It's just a goddamn grandma who throws potions at you. Like, this is not impressive. A homeless person down the street can throw shit in my eyes and it will have the same effect as a potion of poison. Like, she doesn't even have any melee attacks. just stares at you and throws potions. And yeah, some of these potions are kinda dangerous, but I mean, come on, there's like 1,000 other more dangerous things to be thrown at you than goddamn potion of poison. I'm sorry, yeah, she gets like cold blood here. Alright, before I finish off with the last cool mob that I want to talk about, let's do a quick lightning round for the mobs that I would have spoken, but I find them kind of boring and a waste of time to have an entire section allocated to every single one. So, in short, Ale, just the blue humanoid fairy, not important, picks up stuff, gives them to you. It's kind of stupid. Copper Golem, same as Ale, just a small little friend. Probably gonna be sold as a robot with like those weird Tesla robots. Happy guess, outdated bro. This shit would have been cool 200 years ago, but we got planes, so you're boring. Glow squid. It's a squid that glows. Like, what do you even want me to say? This shit already exists in real life. It's called the Firefly Squid. Why am I even spending time talking to this fuck sniffer? An interesting mob. Might be used in farms and pastures, but that's really it. If you cut it up, I wonder if it tastes like bison or like a cow. I don't know. Nautilus. Just the Nautilus, but big. I don't have to say anything else. Breeze. Cool design, cool mechanics, but only found the trial chambers way underground. So if this thing is ever to be witnessed, you need to basically delve all the way down underground, find the trial chambers, and then fight him for barely anything. What, a mace? Wow, how cool. Okay. Yeah, that's all. You can cut the Yakuza music. And finally, the Warden. Oh yeah, we ended the previous episode with an Enderman, and he was terrifying in concept. The Warden? Yeah, the Warden is definitely a step up to the Enderman. Firstly, the Warden acts as a guardian to the ancient city. However, he can be spawned outside of the city as long as there is a good amount of scope and a scope shrieker. So as long as somebody goes in real life to an ancient city, he gets a hold of some scope and a shrieker and a scope sensor, and then just kills a bunch of bugs next to the scope, he can create a Warden outside the caves. Now imagine a 3-meter tall creature that runs just as fast as the Enderman, but that's not even the important part, because he can do a move called Sonic Boom that takes most of your health, which if that damage is done in Minecraft, it means that the Warden basically does the thing that Hulk does when he slaps his fucking hands. Yeah, your eardrums, fucking god. Whilst you're completely discombobulated from the fact that you got fucking rear-ended by a sonic boom, he can finish you off because he does 22.5 hearts of damage in hard difficulty, which is safe to assume you're basically getting hit by a fucking truck. That's the kind of hit he's gonna do to you. The worst thing is, even if the Warden dies, you can just spawn back another one, because as long as the scope shrieker and the scope sensor are there, you just have infinite supply of Wardens. Yeah, this is some Resident Evil shit. Like, an outbreak of Wardens is straight up apocalyptic. I don't even need to say anything else. This thing is absolutely terrifying. I'd rather take like 50 Endermen in a fight than a single Warden. Put that motherfucker at the top. Whew. Wow. I feel like I just went over the entire catalog, but I am still missing like a very good chunk of said catalog. Anyway, you know what conclusions are like. Click the sub so I can make the number go bigger, like the video, scroll down and tell me why whatever mob you're dick riding deserves to be considered more dangerous. Anyway, part 3 is gonna go into the nether and the end. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.